In a single ICU, patients may generate more than 350 alarms in one day. Imagine working in that constant noise and still being expected to identify the one alarm that signals an actual emergency. Over time, this constant exposure causes nurses to become desensitized to the sounds, a condition known as alarm fatigue, which may directly link to patient harm and nurse burnout. My name is David Cook, and today I will present a quality improvement initiative focused on reducing alarm fatigue in critical care. We will examine the scope of the problem, best practices, and a change strategy to improve patient outcomes and staff well-being. Alarm fatigue occurs when nurses are exposed to frequent non-actionable alarms and begin to tune them out. Studies show that up to 99% of ICU alarms are false or insignificant. When alarms sound constantly, nurses may miss or delay responses to the alarms that truly matter, which can lead to sentinel events such as unrecognized arrhythmias or respiratory failure. For nurses, the nonstop noise increases stress and disengagement. Alisuafa and Alonzi found that repeated false alarms reduced the likelihood of responding quickly to critical ones. The Joint Commission recognizes alarm safety as a national priority, underscoring that this is not just a unit-level problem, but a system-wide threat to safety. Beyond clinical outcomes, alarm fatigue also contributes to turnover and burnout, which increases cost and destabilizes staffing, issues that directly affect unit management. Best practices emphasize customizing alarm settings for each patient, prioritizing high-risk alarms, and educating staff in alarm management. The Joint Commission's National Patient Safety Goal 6.1.1 calls for hospitals to review alarm policies and reduce unnecessary alarms. For example, customization may mean lowering SpO2 thresholds for a patient with COPD or adjusting heart rate parameters for a patient with atrial fibrillation so that alarms reflect actual clinical needs. Education is also essential. Ali Siafi and Alonzi found that structured alarm management training reduced false alarms and improved nurse response times. However, Acrylic et al. Reported that without reinforcement, alarm reduction programs often lose momentum, particularly when units experience high turnovers or increased patient census. Despite these standards and evidence, many ICUs still rely on default monitor settings, leading to unnecessary alarms and staff in disengagement. These gaps highlight why consistent evidence-based alarm practices must be implemented and maintained. This initiative will begin as a pilot project in a single ICU unit of about 20 to 30 beds. ICUs experience the most significant alarm burden, making them the best setting to test and refine alarm setting strategies. Once the pilot is successful, the initiative can be expanded hospital-wide. Lewin's change theory guides this initiative by providing the overall framework for change. In the unfreezing stage, leaders present baseline alarm data to staff to build awareness and urgency. In the change stage, the team implements interventions such as alarm customization, staff training, and updated response protocols. Finally, in the refreezing stage, the unit embeds these practices into policies, orientation, and audits to make the change permanent. Lewin's model is one of the most widely used in healthcare because it emphasizes preparing staff for change and addressing resistance up front. This concept is especially relevant in the ICU, where nurses already manage heavy workloads and may resist workflow adjustments. Lewin's approach ensures that staff feel included and supported through the transition, while the PDSA cycle provides a step-by-step method for testing and refining interventions within this framework. Implementation will follow the Plan, Do, Study, Act cycle, which is widely used quality improvement method for testing changes on a small scale before expanding them. In the planning phase, we will set a measurable goal of reducing alarms by 20%. In the doing phase, we will run a 6-week ICU pilot with staff training and alarm customization. In the study phase, we will collect data from alarm logs, nurse surveys, and response times to evaluate effectiveness. Finally, in the act phase, we will refine the process and expand it across the department and eventually hospital-wide. The change process may incur resistance from the staff, where they may be skeptical about outcomes, worry about workload, or feel burned out from past initiatives. Leadership strategies will focus on engagement and trust. Listening sessions and shared governance will give staff a voice in shaping the project. Alarm safety champions will model best practices, and leaders will celebrate successes to build momentum. Clear, consistent communication will be key to overcoming skepticism. Key stakeholders include bedside nurses, charge nurses, nurse educators, biomedical engineers, and patients. Each has a distinct role in the success of this project. Bedside nurses are the frontline decision makers who interact with alarms daily and must be confident in the new processes. Charge nurses provide leadership on each shift and reinforce adherence to alarm protocols. Nurse educators ensure consistent training and help onboard new staff. Biomedical engineers are essential for customizing monitor settings and maintaining alarm equipment. And finally, patients and families must feel assured that alarms reflect real needs. Their trust and satisfaction are the ultimate measure of success. Effectiveness will be measured using both quantitative and qualitative data. Alarm frequency logs and response times will show objective outcomes, while nurse surveys will capture perceptions of workload and alarm fatigue. Leaders will monitor patient and family feedback to determine whether alarms inspire trust or concern. The pilot will run for 6 weeks, with expansion to the whole department at 3 months. Sustainability will come from embedding alarm safety into policies, new staff orientation, and regular audits. Reducing false alarms not only improves patient safety but also gives nurses more time for direct patient care, increasing efficiency and supporting overall unit performance. Expected outcomes include a 20% reduction in non-actionable alarms, faster nurse response to critical events, and reduced stress and burnout among staff. Over time, these improvements will strengthen the culture of patient safety in the ICU. Alarm fatigue compromises patient safety and staff well-being, but evidence-based interventions can reduce it. This initiative offers a structured plan to close the gap between best practices and current practice. With leadership support and a shared commitment to sustaining change, we can create safer environments for patients and healthier workplaces for nurses. Thank you. I hope that you will consider my process improvement plan. And here are my references.